There really isn't too much to say about Dead Space that hasn't really already been covered by other content creators out here on YouTube. So rather than sit here and regurgitate how amazing this remake is, I think I would rather encapsulate an attempt to describe the feeling that I had while playing this game. And it all starts with the initial Dead Space from 2008. I remember where I was, what I was doing, and what my life was like. I was 19, living in a house with my buddies, and just everything was wild and chaotic. I had my room down in the basement, and I would stay up late after all my friends were asleep so I could take the Xbox downstairs and play Dead Space alone in the dark by myself at 4 in the morning. The sheer intensity that this game brought me was a true once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I swore to myself that I would never play this game again because I knew that I would never be able to replicate that magic. And you know, that's just okay. A lot of people want to keep reliving the same moments over and over again, and I get it. There are things in my life that I don't want to let go of either, particularly Call of Duty Zombies, but for whatever reason, with Dead Space, I just knew that I would never fully experience that same horror that I did the first time I played it. So with this current resurgence of survival horror games, I had really been wanting to go back and play Dead Space, as it had been many years, obviously, but I held strong and I didn't play it because I wanted to keep that promise I made to myself. And then the unthinkable happened, right? EA had finally announced that there was going to be a Dead Space remake, and we had kind of heard about that for a while, and while I was reluctant at first, I thought to myself, you know what, let's give it a shot. So a few days before the launch of this remake, I went back to Dead Space from 2008, and I played the first like 2 chapters or so, just to kind of have a frame of reference of like, what is updated, what's not, is there any changes that are going to be made, is it a one-to-one copy? I also didn't want to spoil the story and everything for myself because I really just didn't remember a whole lot. And while the Dead Space from over a decade ago surprisingly holds up, there were certain things that felt odd and kind of outdated, like the way the character was controlled, how bright the levels are, the like environment itself. It just felt like an old school game from the early 2000s. So fast forward to the day that the Dead Space remake launches, I install it, I boot it up, and I just felt nostalgia flowing through my veins, more than I did when I turned on the original game just a few days before. This remake is essentially the memory itself that I hold inside of my head. This is what I thought the game looked like and played like and felt like. I don't know how EA did it, but they somehow encapsulated the actual feelings, yet improved on the original. And as you're playing through Dead Space, you're going to notice that the weapons feel and look different, the play space and the ship layout are slightly altered, the way the cutscenes and characters interact is updated for the better, the handling of Isaac feels much more modernized with tighter, more precise control. The environments are absolutely stunning. The combination between pitch black corridors and quarantine security lighting flashing around gives you a much more intense sense of fear as you scramble trying to shoot off the limbs of a necromorph. And by the way, the necromorphs, I think their updated design is absolutely grotesque and in the best way possible. There truly isn't much to say about this game other than it's a huge facelift on the original title. It feels better, it looks better, it just is better. And if you're like me and you really value those once-in-a-lifetime experiences, I think this one is safe to relive just a bit, especially if you have not played it in 15 years, as it will unlock memories and feelings that are parallel to those from the moment you played it all those years ago. I will conclude by saying that even though this Dead Space remake is my preferred way to play Dead Space, and everything about it is near perfect for what I want out of this particular video game, it will never and can never replace that initial feeling of being exposed to this universe for the first time. That feeling of being terrified as a young adult and just going into the world of one of the most horrific games of the industry to date. So while it may not be the exact replica of that feeling that you remember from back then, it's pretty damn close, and it's very special in my opinion to have an almost unique experience twice from the same artistic medium, and it just proves how beautiful, unique, and impactful Dead Space was.